Welcome to Reaching World Podcast, where we highlight the world's largest network of influencers for good, love, and service. Join us in saying thank you to these incredible individuals and organizations by listening, subscribing, and sharing their legacies. And by doing this together, we will help inspire others to leave their legacy of service and love. I'm your host, Zach Garner. Awesome. Well, we're excited to have Gogo's Real Estate on, the top producer in Michigan 3 years in a row. She's currently with EXP Brokerage. We're going to have her, Gogo, go ahead and introduce yourself to our podcast listeners.
Hey guys, my name is Gogo Becky. I own Gogo's Real Estate. I had a license as a realtor for the last 7 years. I built my business on social media. I joined EXP in November of last year, and I am so excited to say that we have about almost 40 agents, 38 agents in 17 different states.
Nice.
In my group that I call Team Gogo. I think that's it.
Fantastic. So you said you built a lot of your business on social media and finding people on other state lines. So tell us about that process and how you got 38 agents and on social media.
Oh gosh. So let's back it up. So when I got my license back in 2011, I was 29. And I am, as you can hear from my accent, I'm not from around Michigan. It's not a Michigan accent. I'm actually Hungarian by nationality. And so when I moved here and I got into this situation of being in sales, in sales, you kind of have to tap into the cousins and the high school friends and the kids that you grew up on the same street with and, that kind of stuff. And I did not have that pool of people, nor did I have money, a huge marketing budget. So I had to figure out a way of making a name for myself to trying to reach strangers because they were my only option. I didn't have a cousin that's going to buy a house for me. So the only way I knew how to do that with no money and no people to touch is through the power of social media, having an option to reach strangers. So that's how the whole thing started. I created a Facebook page, and up until about, I would say last year or the year before last, so probably 2017 is when I started to switch over also to LinkedIn and to Instagram. Up until then, so from 2011 to 2017, I pretty much just used it and abused Facebook. I almost didn't do anything with Instagram or LinkedIn.
Okay.
And so that's just started the last 2 years. And to be honest with you, originally, I switched to Instagram because on Facebook, I had all my clients kind of follow me. And that's what I was generating all my business from. And I just needed an outlet to kind of, you can beep this part out, BITCH, about the good, the bad, and the ugly side of real estate. So that's why I kind of went over to Instagram, is more so to talk to the agents, is to talk about the everyday, the hardship that we are facing, the pretty much the everyday of being a realtor, and not necessarily trying to.
Yeah.
Exactly. And not necessarily trying to chase that next transaction. So my Instagram was created with that in mind of like, I just want an outlet where I can pretty much just, I can't find another word besides bitch.
Right.
I don't know if that's proper to use, but so to pretty much just find an outlet where I can just release all my...
Right. You just need to place the event, a platformed event. And sure enough, this platformed event caught a lot of momentum because you do have quite a few followers.
Yeah. So that's how Instagram started. So I didn't do it with anything specific in mind. I just needed to get some things off my chest. And that's how the whole thing started. And then, so the platforms, I use them differently. So LinkedIn is my very professional. If you Google me and see that I'm for real, you're going to find me on LinkedIn. All my sassy quotes and things like that, you're probably not going to find on LinkedIn because I believe the three platforms work totally different from one another. And you kind of have to figure out how they work out. Yeah. So for example, I can easily post a selfie on Instagram, but I can certainly not post a selfie on LinkedIn.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just, you kind of have to be familiar with the platforms and figure out how it's appropriate to use them. So on LinkedIn, I'm very professional. You're going to see just kind of very boring. On Facebook, you're probably going to see almost everything that you see on Instagram, unless it's very personal or if it's a quote. Quotes don't work on Facebook. So I just kind of pick and choose. And as I figured out the traffic through the years, because you're going to see through your engagement of what's working and what's not on which platform. So that's pretty much how it started. And I use and abuse the three system in different ways. Videos work very, very well on LinkedIn. So I post anything video related on LinkedIn and I get a lot of just professional recognition, which in return turns into a lead from somebody else who's also professional on there. On Facebook, I pretty much use it for anything because on Facebook, you can post a link and through, I don't know if you're familiar with KV Core, but by being an agent with EXP, you get your own website and your own website comes with a built-in CRM program and lead generation program. program. KV Core is the lead generation and CRM program that comes with EXP, and it is amazing and mind-blowing.
Nice.
So every time I post a link from my own website that's through EXP, I post it on there. When somebody clicks it, the CRM program is smart enough to steal their information, and all I need to do is follow up. So those are some ways how we generate leads. And then on Instagram is just kind of, I release everything that's on my mind, and somebody who finds me entertaining or worth their following, they follow me. And then through the years, I earned, I would say, their
respect and trust. Yeah.
The respect and trust. Yeah. And then if they decide that they want to switch over to EXP or they want to know more about it, they reach out to me. To be honest with you, I have not reached out to a single person myself. So they all, actually, I lied. I did reach out to one person. But the rest of them pretty much all reach out to me because I talk about my day to day. You know what I mean? I don't talk about it with the mindset of like, oh, I need to recruit more agents. I just talk about what it takes in my business to make it all happen.
And so
then
you do
if they
that
not
in a video form, then it's kind of
well,
like
I
your
do
journal
videos, I do
record,
posts,
but...
I do stories, I do a lot of stories, I do a lot of lives, and quotes. And if you look at my feed, it's kind of organized. All the pretty stuff make it onto the feed. All the everyday nitty gritty, where most of the time I don't have makeup on, makes it onto the story.
Oh, gotcha.
Because the stories are only out there for 24 hours.
Right.
Exactly. Plus, it's like it's the real side of me.
Yeah.
The feed is more my edited life, the pretty side of everything. Because we all know we're not supposed to judge the book by the cover, but we all do. If I put up a blurry photo where I don't have makeup on and I look like it and stressed, you're not going to follow me because why should you?
Right. And so
you'll see that.
Yeah. So you use the actual feed as your long-term post of your content value you want to provide them, and you want your story is the everyday, day-to-day, like this is the real side of the grind.
Exactly.
Awesome. That's a great method. And it seems to be working for you then.
Yes, I think so. I've been growing kind of crazy and I love it. About to hit 30,000 followers on Instagram.
Awesome.
And
congratulations.
Like LinkedIn, thank you. LinkedIn gives me a ton of views on videos. I have videos that are past 100,000 views. It's just kind of different on every platform.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you have about 38 agents. Are they all in? You said they're not all in Michigan, right?
No, they are in 17 different states. So this is one of the reasons why I switched to EXP, is because EXP allows you to, so let's back it up one more time.
Okay.
Because of social media, I get to reach and talk to a ton of agents. With the companies that I was prior to EXP, I was kind of limited to location, especially when I was with Real Estate One. If I referred an agent to Real Estate One, which is a local company here in Michigan, I would have maybe gotten a $500 check if and when that other person closed, but that person would have had to have been in Michigan because Real Estate One is a state company here in Michigan only. So I was limiting myself to location when I was at Real Estate One. And then when I switched to KW last year, I love them. They're great people, great company. But the profit share end of their program, which was very enticing for me, that was the reason why I switched over. That again didn't work for me because you only make money off of that if and when that actual office is profitable. And us all being entrepreneurs and all loving Uncle Sam, and we all love paying taxes.
Yep.
You know how that works. You know how something is profitable and how it's not profitable. Even if they're profitable, on paper, they're going to make it look like they're not.
Yeah.
Because if you are, you're going to have to pay taxes. So when it comes down to profit share, it's really hard to get a chunk of something that may not be there on paper.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
true.
So, and
Absolutely.
also I referred 43 agents in 8 months when I was with KW.
Wow.
So, but I never checked of like, oh, is the office I'm referring you in Georgia, is that office profitable? Like, I don't know. I usually ask them, hey, which is the closest KW office to you? And I literally they told me which one is based on GPS, and I just referred them to that office. So I did not done research of like making sure that I'm sending them to a profitable office, because who has time for that? And what am I going to call the manager and be like, did you guys have profit last year?
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's not realistic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't make much money. I mean, I made money, don't get me wrong. Extra money is just not what the opportunity is with EXP. So one of the reasons why I switched over to EXP is because at EXP, you get revenue share, not profit share, which means as if an agent that joined the company and named me as their sponsor, when they close and they pay their 20% to EXP, 3.5% of that comes to me if the office is profitable or not. We don't have offices. So it's a very easy way of knowing that it does not matter.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes way more sense then. And
yeah.
so,
if I'm working hard, I want to get paid.
It doesn't matter where they reside. You get that 3.5%.
Yes. Yes, does not matter where they at.
Oh, that's
We are
fantastic.
in every single state in the US, and then we are also soon, well, actually, we are already in Canada in 4 provinces, and then we are soon going to be in Mexico. And I hope after that is going to be international because I have friends in almost every country.
Nice. Okay. So let's transition a little bit. So how do you build your team then? You got 38 agents. How did you find those agents? How did you train them? How do you,
How this
how do you
madness
get them to
happens.
join your team? Yeah. Talk to us
Yeah,
about
so
building that team.
yeah, so I don't, as I told you earlier, I do not recruit necessarily. So I don't go out there and cold call agents and tell them about EXP. I try not to do lunch and learns and things like that in person. What I do is I pretty much just talk about my everyday. And then most agents going to
Okay.
want to find out, hey, what do you mean KV Core? Like, what is KV Core? Like,
Yeah.
and then if I just explain them what that is, they're like, how can I get it? I'm like, well, you can go and buy it. I think it's about $900 a month if you're not an EXP agent, or you can become an EXP agent and then it's $85 a month. And then they go, oh gosh, what is EXP? And then I'll tell them that.
Gotcha.
So it's just kind of like a snowball effect, to be
Okay.
honest with you. But if people have been following me long enough, I share enough information on my platforms where if you read all my posts, you can probably answer your own questions.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
then they literally just reach out to me and are like, hey, can I have a phone conversation with you? I actually have a Calendly link. So it's calendly.com/Gogo's Real Estate. And they can go on there and schedule a conversation with me because I got to the point where I could not literally go through my calendar every
Wow.
day and be like,
Yeah,
okay,
keep
when
up
do I
with it
have
all.
time to talk to you?
Yeah.
So they can just schedule themselves. So I don't even know who I'm talking to anymore. They just put themselves in my calendar. They call
Gotcha.
me, and then we just talk. I explain everything. I have a video that explains EXP very well. I send that over to them. But then
Nice.
we also have a lot of, like, I have a private group. It's called Team Gogo that only the agents who are in my direct downline are in it. I also started Gogo's Bootcamp. That's a coaching program. So if you go on gogosbootcamp.com, you can see it's a 3-series video series that explains pretty much everything of how I do business, how I build it, where the leads are coming from, how
Yeah.
to build your social media presence, what to do, what not to do, videographers, all my vendors, all my, like, everything that I use, anything
Oh,
from
that's
editing apps to who helps me grow my Instagram, that kind of stuff, everything is included.
Nice.
They can purchase that if they like, or they can join my team and then they get it for free. So
Perfect.
not only everybody who joins my team naming me as their sponsor, they get it for free automatically, but everybody they bring to the company and so on and so forth, everybody in my direct downline will get it for free forever. So I used to charge for coaching. I used to charge for phone calls and shadowing, and I don't do that anymore because I don't have time. I just do it for free now. So
Gotcha.
sad.
Cool.
Yeah. So I just gave them extras because, I will eventually benefit from their success. So the whole point of revenue share is only worth anything if I can teach them how to close. Because if they don't close, I don't make money. They don't make money. Nobody's happy.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes it hard.
Yeah. So I teach them how to set up their social medias. I teach them what to post, how to edit the photos, how to make it pretty, hashtags and all that stuff, all the yada yada, everything. Then the second series that's coming out this month that teaches them after you have everything set up, how to post, how to feed everything to your CRM program, how to follow up, what to provide, what not to provide, how do I go to a listing appointment, what do I take, how do I negotiate, how do we get to the closing table, what do I bring as a closing gift. I show everything on the buy side. I show pretty much down to the how to create a CMA, to how to make a Facebook post, to pretty much how to integrate everything with Zapier, all that stuff.
Wow.
And then, so that's series 2. And then on series 3, I teach them how to work on their business, not in their business. So it's pretty much taking you anything from how to set up to how to work them in the middle to how to work on your business so you can grow, how to hire an assistant, when to hire an assistant, risk assessments, ISAs, what companies I use, CPAs, legal advisors, financial advisors, all that stuff. Everything they need to run a successful business is provided in series 3, and all that is provided for them for free. So
Wow.
it's not that just you're going to call me and you're going to be in my downline, I'm going to make money on you one day. Like, my goal is to set up everybody for success.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
so
incredible.
They make money, I make money.
So you're offering all this value, all this content, and building that relationship of trust because you want them to succeed, because in return you both succeed.
I'll succeed.
So yeah,
exactly.
That's great.
And then we also have 2 groups that we add them to that are both, well, some people say secret groups, but they are kind of on Facebook. You only have access if you're in one of our direct downlines. And so they also get access to that. There's 1,400 badass realtors in the group. So anybody who's somebody in the industry, you would have direct access to them. And the reason why why they would give you the time of the day and they would help you is because they also benefit. Because if I'm in their direct downline, everybody I bring to the company, when those people close, the people above me in the company will benefit from it. So in the past, when you didn't have access to these agents because everybody protects their slice of the pie, now is the polar opposite. Now everybody wants to share because they will not see money unless I close.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love this concept because I've been in the industry long enough where I worked a closed door policy enough where I would go into the top producing agent's office with a question and they're like, oh, yeah, no, I don't know. That never happened to me before. I'm like, bullshit, my whatnot never happened to you before. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this concept and this platform or experience, I would say, is the polar opposite of that. Everybody's eager to help one another because we will all benefit. And at the end of the day, I hate to say we all benefit with money, but I don't know anybody on earth who does not need money to feed their kids or run a household or have a lifestyle.
Sure.
We all work for money.
Yep. Yeah. Very true. Wow. That's awesome. So remind us where we can find all that content and value that you provide those agents.
Only if you're in my direct downline.
Gotcha. Awesome.
You'll get access to all that. So if anybody's interested any further, you can find me on gogosrealestate.com. Just message me there. Oh, sorry, Gogo's Real Estate on any platform. Instagram is probably the quickest. And just message me and then we can set up a call and go from there.
Sounds great. That's awesome. So talk to us. We appreciate your time so far. It's been great.
Thank you.
Talk to us. For this episode. So talk to us a little about a trial or an obstacle you've had to overcome to get where you are today.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, there were many. What do you want me to start with?
Yeah, kind of putting you on the spot there. So tell us kind of the whole, you went to school in 2011, right?
Yeah. So I got my license.
What was one of the biggest or two biggest obstacles you've had to overcome in your real estate career? And how did you do that?
So the very first one, the hardest one, probably the one that I cried the most about, and I don't cry, trust me, I have a good set of things about. But the one that I cried the most about or got to me really, because in this industry, you have to have thick skin and thicker than you can imagine thick skin in order to survive. And I thought I was like, I got this. Well, not until your friend calls you, the good friend of yours that you've been very good, go to each other's houses, raising together, play dates, all that. And then suddenly you don't hear from her for about I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks. And then you get a text message from her asking you if you could come over with the kids because they bought a new house and she would like you to help her unpack and the kids could just run around wild and we can enjoy some coffee. But she forgot to call me to buy that house.
Right.
She asked me to come and help her clean and organize that house when she clearly knows I'm a realtor. So many times I would go to a play date and I would see somebody else's yard sign in my friend's house, but they invite me over for a play date. So that was the hardest one to learn, is that your friend and family are not going to use you until you're successful.
Gotcha.
But think about it. It's a hard lesson to swallow at first. But if you think about it, the ones that know you also know that you just got your freaking license. And that is their biggest investment of a lifetime. So why should they trust a brand new agent? So I totally get it now. But as a new agent, it was so hard to swallow. You know what I mean? It's like, if your friends don't use you, then who will? You know what I mean? So that was hard to get over it. I understand it now looking back, but that was very hard. Also, second thing that I learned late, I wish I would have known prior to that you have to spend money to make money. That was hard.
Yeah,
as much as I tried to do everything for free on social media, you still periodically have to throw $100 to an event to sponsor or $20 to create a Facebook ad.
Yeah.
Or I'm not even talking big bucks. I'm just saying some money you still have to throw. So I tried to do everything for free as a penny pincher. And if I look back now, if I could have sponsored maybe my kid's soccer team, even though it was $250, it's not the end of the day for the season, I probably could have had the link or the logo of Gogo's Real Estate on the back of the little jerseys. And that would have helped my business and I could have had a proud moment. But I was too cheap and I saved my $250 and who knows, probably didn't create anything for Gogo's Real Estate with it. So if there is any way, I would strongly recommend that they spend some money in order to make money. I'm not saying you have to spend a lot of money, but just a little bit will take you a long ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we appreciate that. That's awesome stuff. So I look forward to seeing your team grow and following your success on Instagram. And so you said a lot of videos, you use LinkedIn for a ton of videos and you use Instagram for for the day-to-day reality of the hustle. And so
Yes.
Facebook's kind of a good mixture of all that.
Facebook is probably my biggest lead generator because on Facebook, you can actually
Really?
share
Awesome.
a link.
Okay.
Because you can share a link where on Instagram you cannot. You know what I mean? Even though I have Linktree and all that on my Instagram, it's just different. Who's going to find their way to my actual link? It's very seldom that somebody's going to like go to my bio and click the link and go through all the links and find my listings. And where on Facebook, if I have a new listing, I just post the link right away. While with KV Core, with this new platform that we get, when I post the link and they click it, I get their information right away so I can just follow up with them. So that is my best lead generation program is Facebook.
Gotcha.
And LinkedIn. LinkedIn, because you can post a link.
Yeah, we look forward to watching you continue to grow your team and to provide content value for agents to grow their business. It's good stuff. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
We like to ask this at the end of the podcast. If you could have a billboard and all 7+ billion people in the world could read it, what would you want the world to know about you and leave with them?
Well, I don't know who said this. It is definitely not sentence out of my mouth, but the one that started my fire is to go and do and be an entrepreneur is that if you don't build your own dreams, somebody is going to hire you to build theirs.
Love it.
And I am certainly not getting paid to build somebody else's dream. I rather starve.
Yeah, I bet. What piece of advice would you give someone that wants to find that fire or that drive? Like, is there a good book that you would recommend, or is there a podcast you listen to?
Yes, quotes. Yeah, quotes for me are huge. I recommend books. So what started it in me back in the day, and I don't know if you can find this anywhere, but Oprah, out of all people, had these 2 shows, one called Mastermind. Anybody who's somebody that made a name for themselves would have an hour to explain where they started, how they become who they are, what lessons they learned through the process. And I would pretty much just sit down, watch those shows, and everybody almost had a sentence in there that just kind of talked to me of like, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. So I used to watch those. I probably saw every single episode. Also, there's another one that's very, very good, also by Oprah. It's called Super Soul Sunday. And in Super Soul Sunday, they kind of just go deep into life. Why are we here? What is our purpose? What is soul? Who is God? What's the difference between faith and religion? Is there a life after this? Is this it? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is just deep questions about, deep soul searching questions. And so I watched that and it was life changing to me of like getting all of these different views and ideas from sometimes different cultural people that are not raised the way we are. They look at things totally differently about the afterlife and things like that. So it just kind of opened up my eyes of like to look deeper. And then I started reading books. And one of the bestest book that I can recommend that will change anyone, it's a tiny little book. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World. It is written by, do you know which one I'm talking about?
Actually, I just read it like a month ago.
Yeah, it's written by, who's it written by? Goodness.
I have it on my,
it doesn't say.
I actually have it on my phone here.
Is it Og Mandino? Am I reading it right? OG Mandino?
Yeah, yep, I think you're right.
Yeah, so it's like a pocket book. It's literally, you can finish it in with your morning coffee.
Yep.
But to me, it was life changing.
Perfect.
It's amazing. It's that, starts out slow and when somebody recommended it to me and it starts out being about kind of like Jesus's era and all that. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize this is a religious book. And, that's what in my mind, it sounded like when I started reading it. And then you get deeper into it, you realize, I'm like, hold on, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, totally.
It is kind of about God and Jesus and all that, but I don't necessarily, even if you're not a Christian, you could totally read it and it will change your mind.
Yeah.
It will change who you are.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep,
so that's one of my absolute favorite and I totally believe you do have to change your ways. There's also another quote that says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
And that is kind of like being an entrepreneur. You get to a point because you were doing things a certain way and then you want a different result, but you're not willing to change your ways. So then you can't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to go to the next level, you have to change your current ways. And I think at first that's very, very hard.
Totally. It's so true. Yeah, because we kind of get in a routine and a kind of a rut where we think it should go this way, but it's kind of like, giving the market what they want instead of giving the market what we want. The whole same concept of being willing and adaptable. Yeah,
that kind of reminds me of another quote that says, God loves you. Sorry about all the God things. I do love my God though.
Absolutely. We do too.
I can't say I'm religious. I learned through those Oprah shows that religion and faith is a totally different thing. Believing in God or believing in a certain way is what makes it a religion. So anyway, there's a quote that also opened my mind. God doesn't love you because you are good. God loves you because he is good.
Love that.
Isn't it?
Awesome.
So I was like, oh gosh,
stuff.
okay. Yeah. So quotes are the ones that talk to me, but in order to get to the quotes, you kind of have to start reading. So I think, or watching this kind of documentaries and things like that. So I think the fastest way of learning is through other people's mistakes. So that's why when you watch biographies and when you watch of these kind of documentaries and stuff, you learn from their mistakes so that you don't have to go through it. So then you just speed up your own growth by learning from their mistakes.
So true. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Well, this has been a fantastic interview. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
These episodes will be launched on Mondays and Thursdays. And if you'd like someone to be on the podcast, if you think there's someone in your network that should be recognized for the good they are doing in the world, please reach out to us and send us a direct message. We can be found at Reaching World Podcast on Facebook.com. So be sure to find us there, like our page, and submit any ideas or suggestions of individuals or organizations that should be highlighted on this podcast.